All right, we have got the wonderful Brian standing by with CAIC, and we have lots to talk about. Of course, keeping you in the know, keeping you safe about all things Avalanche. We've got a lot to dive into. So, Brian, I'm going to give you the floor. Tell us where you'd like to start.
Yeah, let's start by looking at the trend in avalanche activity over the last week. And so where we are as we head into the latter part of this work week is on this kind of downward trend of avalanche activity since about February 8th. So you can see that this trend will continue until we add a little bit more snow and wind drifted snow, which is going to take place as we move into the latter part of this work week and into the weekend. The slopes that we're worried most about are depicted here. So this shows the distribution of avalanches large enough to bury, injure, or kill a person. And you can see why we are warning of slopes that face west through all the northerly aspects and on east, because that is where the bulk of these large and dangerous avalanches have been taking place.
And now, speaking of, large enough to bury or injure someone, sadly, we do have an incident that happened in Crested Butte. And I was wondering if you could touch a little bit on that and that incident that happened.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we've had a number of avalanche incidents just in the last week, including a couple full burials, broken femur. And then tragically on Sunday, we had a fatal avalanche accident near Crested Butte. And here's an image of what that slide looked like. And it's really fits the pattern of the kinds of avalanches we've been seeing around the state, where it's breaking underneath that recent storm snow 1 to 2 feet deep. Now, this piece of terrain is obviously quite steep, very rocky. And unfortunately, the skier triggered this avalanche, was washed over some of these rocks and into trees where he sustained injuries that he was not able to survive. But this is a really illustrative example of how the avalanches are breaking. And those conditions are not confined to the Central Mountains. It's really, statewide, we are seeing most avalanches break underneath the early February storm snow 1 to 2 feet deep. And here's just an example from Red Mountain Pass over the last few days. And so these are the kinds of avalanches that are going to be worrisome for backcountry travelers on especially steep slopes, over about 35 degrees as we move into the last part of the week, this work week and into the weekend. Here's a forecaster up near Montezuma in the northern mountains, kind of showing what these buried weak layers look like.
On the northwest aspect at about 11,000 feet near the town of Montezuma. We dug a quick snow pit here, and we got decreasing danger happening in the northern mountains. We do have some snow on the way later in the week and this weekend. And what you can see here is we have this really big surface hoar layer. This is some of the biggest I've actually seen in the county, almost 12 millimeters. If you look closer, you can kind of actually just see it. And so we have this big surface hoar layer here, and it's about 30 centimeters deep below the surface. This formed at the beginning of February. And then throughout February, we've had these small storms that have built up this really soft slab above it. Right now, it's not a problem because the slab above it is really soft. It's not propagating a failure. I got a non-propagating result in this snow test. As we get more snow and wind, add more of a load to this, we could start to see some more avalanches on this layer. And when the storm comes in, look for the danger to rise.
So I think Andrew summarized it really well right there. So, we've been talking about this surface hoar layer, which I'm showing here, and you can see that's obviously quite dramatic, very fragile, can't handle much of a load. Not everywhere has this same exact weak layer, and the exact weak layer matters less than the depth. So again, the weak layers are on these west through north through east aspects, 1 to 2 feet deep. Conditions are going to vary a little bit depending on where you go in the state. But you can see here, we can expect an uptick in avalanche danger as this storm, the latter part of this work week and into this weekend, really adds some snow with the bullseye on the park range north of Steamboat. And it's the potential to get enough snow up there as we head into the weekend, and we might even see high avalanche danger and watches and warnings. But the bottom line is watch for increasing avalanche danger in the north. In the rest of the state, we still have those weak layers buried, 1 to 2 feet deep. They're going to remain ripe for human-triggered avalanches, particularly in really steep terrain.
Sure. And to make sure that we stay alert when we're out there, especially for the holiday weekend. People are going to want to get out and get excited and hit the backcountry. And like always, want to make sure we stay safe and alert. So go ahead and tell us where we should go to get those live
Yeah, we
updates.
really want people to enjoy it. The snow conditions are great. There's plenty of safe terrain to utilize. So to dial in your trip plan to meet the current conditions, please go to Colorado.gov/avalanche, or you can check out the current conditions on the CAIC mobile app.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Brian, for sharing everything. We so appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.